Hi there, Nancy Merland. If we haven't talked in a while, or if you haven't seen me on live video for a while, it's because I haven't done live video for a while. I mean, I've done webinars and things like that, but I have not gone live and actually live streamed. So I thought I would talk to you for a few minutes about video and its importance. If you've heard me talk about the relationship continuum, it is a phrase that I use to describe three different levels of engagement, of familiarity that we can use with the people that we want to get close to. And the first is the written word. It's easy. It's blogging, it's newsletters, it's anything that is the written or the typed word. And then when we add audio into the mix, the spoken word, all of a sudden, and that can be podcasts, that can be any kind of audio, but mostly podcasts, because what other kind of audio is there? I guess calling people, leaving them messages. So I just corrected myself. There are different kinds of audio. But what happens is that when you add audio to the mix, people start to hear your voice. They start to hear your personality, and they feel like they know you a little bit better than they did before. And then when we ramp up to the top with the visual word, video, then all of a sudden you've definitely come to life for people. Not only can they hear you, but they can see you as well. And they can look into your eyes and they can tell something about you, whatever that might be. It's your personality, it's your approach, it's the way you like to do business, it's the way you might be when they would actually meet or work with you personally. And so a video is extremely important. And all of the surveys that I keep reading, so many articles on a daily and a weekly basis talk about how critical it is to use video right now. Couple reasons. I already gave you several of them. That familiarity, it strips back, I always like to say it peels back the levels of unfamiliarity that exist between you and the people you want to get close to. So that's very obvious. We've talked about that. But also because, and these are related, because whether we like it or not, the algorithms really like video right now. And why do the algorithms like video? Because people like video. And we've all of a sudden become accustomed to being human beings that like to scroll through and like to use video. And we've learned that through whatever it started with. It started way back with Snapchat. It started with other forms of live streaming that came around about the time of Snapchat. We don't need to go into what all of those were. It's obviously the TikTok phenomenon. It's YouTube Shorts. It is now that LinkedIn also likes vertical video. So we have become accustomed to video, and we like scrolling through video. Some of you, I know people have told me, I don't like video. I would much rather listen to you, or I would much rather read your written word. So because of that, I tend to use a couple different formats. I do try to transcribe or turn my audio and video into written blog posts as well, so that I can embed audio and video within a blog post, for example. But what I want you to do is to think seriously about video and the place that it might have in helping you to stand out. And why do you need to worry about standing out right now? Well, because there is a flood of content that is running around out there, and people are using artificial intelligence even to develop and to create lots of content. And if they aren't doing it yet, they're going to be, because it is extremely easy. Now, does it mean it sounds just like you or it sounds just like them? Not necessarily. One of these days it's going to, because the more we train ChatGPT and Claude and Anthropic and all of them, Microsoft 365, I mean, all, Gemini, all of them, they are going to sound more and more like us. So they are going to be able to create content, the written word in particular, that sounds just like us. And you won't necessarily know if someone has written a blog post or if artificial intelligence has helped them do that. So, back to my point about, we are going to continue to see a flood of content. And if we know that, and if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments and I'll make sure that I can actually see your comments. Let me make sure that the comment section is right here. Yep, so I can see if you're here. If we know that it is important for you to share your thought leadership and to stand out from the competition, then we just need to make sure that you spend your time wisely and do it in that way. So again, letting people see your face. Does it have to be professionally produced video? No, it doesn't have to be professionally produced video. It can be, and you will not hear me say don't create professionally produced video. It definitely has its place. And I have a few very close friends within this industry that do that for a living, and I'm happy to help you connect with them. But I also want to talk to you about the casual ways, the more conversational ways. This is one of them, obviously, that you can connect with people, share your thought leadership by just being you on camera. This one is easy. You're seeing it in action right now. It's live streaming, and it really is just cranking up the software. It's making sure you have a decent microphone in front of you. Check your lighting out. Make sure to ask yourself if you need a little help with lighting. Depends if it's a dark day or a bright day here in my office. Sometimes I need to tone back the lighting. Sometimes I need to crank it up. So the tools are very, very simple. And then you just press go when you go. And then the other one that I want to talk to you about is what I call handheld video. And I think there is a large place for that. There is a great place for that in your strategy right now. And what does that mean? I mean, I call it handheld video just because it has to do with this guy, this phone, and it is a handheld device. You don't necessarily have to hold it while you're creating video, but you can. And hi, Jen, how are you? Hang on just a second. Yes, I will answer your questions. I will answer your question in just a second, and I'll show it to everybody too, so that they know what you're asking. But yes, absolutely, I can help out. For handheld video, what I do is I just prop this into. I mean, I could hold it, and you wouldn't necessarily. I mean, here I'm just pretending I'm recording on my phone, and my hand, let me get it out of the camera. My hand is here. You couldn't necessarily, I could record on my phone, and you wouldn't necessarily see my arm in the way. But depending on how long you're going to go, and I wouldn't go for very long in this type of video, then you might start to, your arm might start to get tired if you're not used to it. Once you're used to it, that's a whole different animal. Or your clothing might get crumpled up. And, I'm just tend to be like a little bit of a perfectionist about those kind of things. So I worry about that. What I'd rather see you do is get something like this, and you can get it to the front over here. And then you just hook your phone into it and make sure you've propped it up so that it is at eye level, barely like a centimeter or millimeter above eye level if you have to. If you don't have the perfect box to put it on, I have to prop that up on a riser on my desk, and also a little bit of a box just to make sure that I'm at eye level. And you'll also want to make sure that you have a lapel mic. I would recommend that because I don't love the microphones that are built into these. I don't like, and this is Samsung's newest, latest phone, whatever. I haven't had a new one for about 2 or 3 years, so I thought it was time. And even with the newest one, I don't love the sound of the audio on playback, and I am a stickler for audio. I mean, if I should be, if I help firms and lawyers with podcasts and other professionals with podcasts, then I better care very much about audio, and I do. So I want you to make sure that your audio is good as well. So you'll want to have a decent mic that you can use. And then I have another tip for you, and this is about as simple and basic as it comes. You might wonder, well, how do I know, how can I look just right at the camera? Well, if you didn't see it when I was just flipping my phone around in front of you, I want you to look at this. Oh, you can see my doggies there on my screen. Mike is no longer with us, but Nikki is. In fact, he's this way. He's at my feet. But do you see the sticker? That's silly little old-fashioned Avery label sticker that looks like this. I will not use these. I mean, how many are there? There are 924 in here. I will not use them in 10 lifetimes because you don't get rid of them that quickly. I did actually go through one the other day when my phone got wet when I dropped it out on the grass, and the sticker got wet and it came off. So I just had to put a new one on today. But I do this more for a reminder for other people when if we're doing selfies or something like that, and they say, where am I looking? And I say, just look for the pink circle. And they're like, oh, why didn't I think of that? And I said, well, you can. In fact, I have stickers I'll share with you because I won't use them all. So that's an easy way. I actually have one on my external webcam too. And I forgot it was there. The only reason that I have it on my external webcam, which I am looking at you through right now, is that it's a long, wide camera with the lens right smack in the middle, and it's all very dark. It's black. So I want to make sure, just as a reminder, that I'm looking right smack in the center, because just like I care passionately about audio, I care passionately about video and video presentation skills, because that's also something that I help professionals and firms with. So I care about that. So get yourself a pack of these, or let me know and I'll send you one. It might be quicker if you just order them from Amazon. I don't know, and probably less expensive. Yeah. So that's a nice reminder. Then you always know when you have your phone set up or you have your external webcam set up, you know that that's where you want to look. So all that to say, and I got a little bit into the weeds there with, ideas and tips for how to make each one better. But I care very much about sound, and I care very much about visuals and video and looking at the camera. So and I care very much about lighting too. And some days you kind of impact that, and some days you can't. Some people are in very dark offices and they can completely control their lighting. Some of us have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 windows around our offices, and there's only so much that we can do, but we try really hard. And then there's even some settings within software that you can use to help your video be better as well. But my message to you is that I want you to consider video. And if you don't feel comfortable with it, trust me, with a little bit of coaching, I know this for a fact, and I know this from experience, you can get there in very little time. And then make sure it's captioned, because the majority of people actually watch video with the sound off. I don't know if you knew that or not. Let me know in the comments if you knew that. But they watch it with the sound off. So you want to make sure there are captions there as well. But my message for you is that video is extremely important. This flood of AI content means that you need to stand out in some way, and you need to make a connection. And again, when people can see your eyes, they can see your inflection, they can watch your body language, then that helps you stand out from the crowd. And before I share any more, I want to make sure that I share. And Jen Gall, hi, thank you so much. We're looking into launching a short video series. Yay, that's great news. Do you have any suggestions on equipment to use for shooting in-house? Is your iPhone okay, or should you get a camera, etc.? Good question. It really depends on your resources. I would want to talk to you a little bit more about what you have in mind and what you would like to see as a result of it. One of the first questions I always ask is, if this turned out perfectly, what would these look like? And so I'd want to have a little bit of a conversation with you about that. But technically doing the things, and I know you posted this before I just explained a lot of the things I did, but technically you could use an iPhone. I think microphones are extremely important in those cases. The camera that's in an iPhone and that's in these Samsung phones, some of them are better than a lot of webcams, or particularly the built-in webcams that can be really bad. And so it really depends on the equipment that you have. Webcams that can be placed on computers aren't terribly expensive, don't have to be terribly expensive. So you can go both ways, Jen. I would just want to talk a little bit more about that, and then talk about a good process for coaching your professionals and making sure that, or helping them get to a comfort level so that they're okay just talking and having a conversation with the people on the other side of the lens, which is the whole goal of this, helping them connect. So you can get a camera, an external webcam. You can get a more expensive DSLR. You can, but you don't have to start with a DSLR. I don't use a DSLR. Would I love to have one? Sure. There's a difference between what you're seeing from my external webcam. In particular, sometimes live streaming does reduce the quality as well. So you aren't even necessarily, depending on where you're watching this, not you, Jen, I know you're on LinkedIn, but where others of you are watching it, it can actually deprecate the crispness of the video as well. And you can look at settings, for example, on Facebook, and ask it to up level the video to what it was intended to be. So Jen, if you want to talk more about that, I'm happy to have that conversation as well. But my message for you today, again, not you, just you, Jen. Sounds like I'm just telling you. My message for anybody who happens to be watching this, whether it's live or on the replay, is that I want you to consider, strongly consider creating video because I think it's that important. I think, and you've been hearing me beat the drum, bang the drum, beat the drum, I think it is, about audio and video for several years now and how important I think audio and video are. And that's why I help my clients with it because I firmly believe in it. Not abandoning the written word. I will not do that. I still help with that. I think it's incredibly important and I like to see all three when it's possible. But I want you to at least start planting. I want to plant that seed with you that I would love to see you start to do more video or at least move toward a comfort level. All right. If you weren't able to be here live or you didn't want to ask your question live and in front of anyone else, feel free to leave me a message wherever you're watching, or you can always email me at nancy@myrlandmarketing.com. And that's MYRLAND marketing.com. All right. We'll talk to you later. And Jen, thanks so much for being here. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.